What do you do when a husband needs to make a change, but it creates a conflict with his wife? This is Magali Pesha and Mark Pesha from Strategic Intervention. And today you're going to meet John, who was determined to become a successful coach, but he thought it would harm his marriage because when he became fired up and confident, he felt her become reactive. He was attending our 3-day live coach training, and I noticed that when he was in the audience, he seemed upset. During a break, I asked whether everything was okay, and he said he was struggling with a serious decision. You're going to see how, through the strategic intervention coaching process, you can help someone to clarify their goals and separate out any relationship conflict so that they can reach their goals while enjoying a much better relationship than they had before. Let's join John as he asks his question.
I get confused because I don't know if what I'm dealing with is mode of being, because I'm trying to create for myself this new life.
Mm-hmm. What are the components of the new life?
I've got this, I just want to become a great coach, right? I want to do so much for myself. Why am I doing this?
No, that's good. You know, just think for a second. What do emotions tell you? This is important. At least that's what they tell me, that you're saying something that's important to you. And you're saying it in front of a room full of people, which always makes me freak out. So, do you want to come up here and have like a real session?
If you guys have time.
Everyone cool with that? So you're getting like the most coaches you'll ever have in your life. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your life, your relationships, anything you want to share at all.
I grew up with changing locations quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I felt like with my job, I just kind of fell into it. I do electrical right now. I've done it for 18 years.
Great.
And
you look too young to have done electrical for 18 years.
So, well, thank you for that. I don't mean I know. I mean,
when did you start doing electrical?
I started right out of high school.
Right out of high school, so young. So you are young. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of issue because I got married young. I got married at 22. I've got 3 girls.
Okay, we didn't talk on the phone one day, did we?
Yes,
and I sent
we
you
did.
to the toy store?
We did, yeah.
You're John. I'm so happy you're here. You didn't come and say hello. We kind of talked on this subject once. Yeah,
we did,
yeah. I'm so glad.
And I guess that's me and the.
And your wife has the fitness center.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, and you're doing work there too.
No, I don't actually.
You're not. Okay.
So
because you're so busy with your job.
Yeah, this is where this whole modes thing comes in for me, because there's been huge shift within the family. I've had, I feel so powerful in some senses, and then so weak in others, because I've got this great strength of a wife, and she's been like extremely supportive, but yet she's the biggest.
She puts
well,
pressure.
yeah, she puts pressure on me.
She puts pressure on you. Yeah.
So she's a great resource of strength.
Yeah. Why do you think she does that? Like, if you were in her, what do you think it is in her? She do it to herself too?
No.
It's okay. It's totally cool. This is the place.
I feel so deeply for her because she was abused as a kid. And now sometimes that strength and that abuse comes, I feel, towards me. So when I'm strong, I want to be that male figure. I want to have that confidence that it gets squashed. So, and I don't want to ever beat her up for that mentally or emotionally. I just have too much respect for that, because nobody ever deserved to go through what she went through. So it's transformed into my life. So I've wanted to become this big player in being the leader and being the supporter, and sometimes it's like I can't, I guess all of us guys go maybe through the same thing, is you can't say the right thing at the right time.
So she needs to make the decisions about, like, even your business. Like, she wants you to do everything, but is that am I?
No,
and not
actually,
from a bad place.
No, actually, she's taken total control of her whole life. Like, she's transformed, and I get this power from her, because she's already done what she needs to do. Now it's my turn. So having it my turn, it's harder for me to have a concept of, can there be two fires in the house?
John clearly has a lot of tenderness for his wife and is sensitive to her emotional states. If she becomes upset or needs more control, he's very quick to give her what she needs. So he's an amazing husband. However, there are times where he needs to take initiative, and when he gets himself all fired up, she reacts to him and they clash. He worries that maybe there isn't enough room for two fires in the house. When he says this, he's referring to the 4 client types, which is a concept we teach our coaches. There are different types of clients, and that they have different working styles, and so they develop a different working relationship with their coach. Fire clients are all about rapid action and results. They're controlling sometimes, and they're very driven. With fire clients, you respect their path and watch them make things happen. Often they need help staying balanced and communicating to others. Earth clients are very steady and grounded and need a lot of encouragement and stimulation to take new actions, which are going to create change in their life. Water clients are emotional and benefit from processing and understanding their feelings, while at the same time creating a larger plan of action. And air clients are imaginative and enthusiastic, but often they need support to stay more steady and grounded so that they can really finish the projects they start and learn to take one step at a time. John's concerned that if his wife is a fiery driver type and he lets himself become a fiery driver, they're going to clash and jeopardize their relationship. So we need to understand more about this couple, how they respond to each other, and what both of them need.
I'm probably more like air, but I'm very grounded to earth. I'm the break in the family. I feel I balance it out a lot, but I feel there can be a lot of controversy when it comes down to making decisions. And I have fears of going into this being a coach, knowing that I can just do it myself, do everything myself. I got this grounded male confidence that I just want to go in and do it all, and just be the guy that, takes care of the kids, gives my wife the free time. I've made enough finances, all the above. And just something just, it's like when I get some confidence, sometimes I get slammed, like, you'll never make that much. And I'll get that sometimes from her.
You'll get that from her, from you.
From her sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you think she is ashamed of herself afterwards? Do you think she feels sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she does, and I think I really understand. I think I really understand how she feels, and I stay reserved and respectful enough to give her that space.
What would happen if you said, "You're being really mean right now"? If she said something critical to you, and you said to her, "This, I know you mean to help me. However, this does not help me."
Notice how Magali has guided the conversation to focus on the question that John wants to answer during this coaching session. And the question is, how do you keep your thing going regardless of her reaction to your path? It's a great question. It's goal-focused. It focuses on his areas of control and doesn't require her permission. Now I'm going to ask for more detail about their interactions.
What's support? Is support
criticism, like verbal, or is it that she needs you to do something and not do something?
It's verbal.
Or?
Yeah, it's very verbal. So it's trying to think of an example here, because I'm in, like, I feel like I'm in protection mode right now. I don't want to hurt her.
What leads up to the verbal criticism? What would be the
Could
trigger
just
for
be
it?
me being strong. Could just be me being strong for once. And
What does strong look like?
strong looks like a threat to her.
No, but I don't know, maybe you understand, Mark, but as a woman, I don't understand when you're being strong. What does that mean? You've just said something, you've just taken time for yourself. I'm not sure what it means.
Making a stand for what I feel I need to do, or how a situation should be. Just having confidence in it. And I feel like because of the abuse that she had when she was younger, that she won't let that male figure back in.
Feels threatening.
Yeah, feels threatening. There's a...
Do you need her to agree with what you do? Do you need her agreement with this? Or does she require that you check in with her on the things that you want to do?
Yeah.
She requires.
I feel she does, yeah.
Have you checked if she really does? What her rule is? Have you, like, because what I think would be really helpful is making this a very conscious conversation with her.
Sometimes a misunderstanding can develop where one person in the couple feels they need permission or verbal confirmation, and the other doesn't. John seems to think that his wife has a rule that he needs to get her permission and support. He's minding this rule because he wants to protect her from being upset. But is that really what she needs?
Her role, because she's such a fire, she believes that she's got to take control for her life and help out. And she's so helpful that way, to help out so many people. She runs a fitness facility, and she works with so many hundreds of people. And yet, when it comes down to sometimes that I think she's got this full understanding of how she is to be, why is it though that the smashing has to come down on her husband, the one that feels like he's the one balancing certain aspects of life? And that's where, when I have ideas or we try to communicate, I might not always be the best communicator, and I understand that.
In coaching, you want to pay attention to repeated words and expressions because they indicate how your client is operating, thinking, and acting. Are you hearing any repetitions here? This is the second time John has mentioned balancing. He feels in charge of balancing, and that probably affects his communication style. And he mentions smashing and slamming, which are strong metaphors. I want to know specifically what that means for him, so I'll ask him for a concrete example. Give me an example of the smashing. What's a smashing example? Let's say you did.
When she's in despair and she's wants the emotional attachment and the understanding attachment, I'm there for her. And I sit there and I go, okay, well, I can hear you. And then I might start speaking, and it'll be, well, you know, I started taking this in the course, and this is what I heard. And it'll be, I don't need to listen to any of your psychological bullshit right now. So it'll be just slam me, right? And it just takes away all my confidence, and I actually just feel like firing back because I'm so upset. Because it's important.
I'm going to give you a strategy for that. Coming up with a purpose statement that you share with her. Often. About your relationship. So a very loving statement, like my greatest purpose in our marriage is to protect you and love you and honor you and respect you. And I'm hoping that we continue to have a relationship that grows, where you and I witness each other and empower each other, and you move it into it's both of us. Start with what you're giving her, and then what you both have together and what you'd like to keep having. And this can change, this purpose statement. But the point is that when you say that, you feel that sense of purpose in you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to fix anything with her, but you are fixing everything, because you're reminding her of the deeper truth of your commitment. And you're also recognizing, in a sense, that she needs protection. So that would be where I would begin. So you don't have to change her. You don't have to share with her what you're learning. Actually, don't share with her what you're learning. It would be better. It could be more loving to share less and decide, like right now, decide the actions you need to take that you'll tell her. These are the actions I'm taking to do what we both want me to do. And this is what I need from you. Tell her very clearly what you need from her.
This is an amazing strategy for getting a married couple out of reaction to each other and focused on their common goals and purpose. John's learning that instead of responding to his wife's emotional state, he can be that steady guy who can refocus her on everything that they want to accomplish together in their personal and professional lives and in their relationship.
She always tells me I need to have good communication. I need to communicate things.
Right.
So, and understanding that there has to be good communication in a relationship in order to make things flow easy and to have the understanding. It makes me wonder why so many issues come up in a situation, in a relationship, where it could be myself, my father's issue, because there's so many issues that impact it all. I just don't even know where to start, and that's why I'm sitting up here just
You're so compassionate.
confused.
You have so much understanding. You don't even realize how few people and how few men understand their wife at that level. Like you're at this really advanced place in understanding why she's doing that, not reacting to her. You're taking it out on yourself. You're hurting yourself instead, which is unfortunate. But that's a much higher level than taking it out on her. You realize that?
Okay.
You're doing anything to
He
protect
doesn't
her.
realize. Yeah. What I think we didn't answer there was, if you were to tell her, these are the only 3 things I need from you to do the work that we've both agreed is our common goal. Like if you have a common goal for you to be this type of business owner or to transition into this type of business, and you have 3 things you need from her, and they should be easy things.
See, she's already given me a list of the things that she wants from me, right?
Okay,
so
what are
especially when I go
What
home.
are they? No. But let's not discount that. It's annoying, but there are 3 things she wants from you, so let's talk about it.
Yeah. So the things that she's got?
Yeah.
One is once I get home, I quit my job.
Okay. She doesn't play small.
Oh, she's horrible. Boom, it's like right now, right?
Okay.
But it shows in her business. So I can't not listen to
What do you mean
somebody.
it shows in her business? You mean she's succeeded?
successful.
She's successful. Great.
Let me ask you, do you see a coaching opportunity here? Think for a second. Did you catch it? Why does he call it her business? For some reason, even though he supported his wife, his family, and parenting and finances, John is relegating all the success to his wife. It's generous, but why is that? Why isn't he seeing his wife's success as an opportunity for his own coaching project? Part of being a coach is finding the opportunities that your client is not seeing. Magali saw this opportunity right away and went straight for it.
Right?
So I want to figure out strategically, you've got this incredible secret weapon of this successful wife who is driven, who wants to drive you. Mm-hmm. How do you allow that energy to happen while staying, like you said, in your own strength?
And still have time for family.
And so, does she have time for family?
Yes, I think she would like a little bit more. So that's where
Tell me the age again of the kids.
11, 10, and 5.
Oh.
3 girls, so estrogen rich in the family. Why am I the way I am?
And how do the girls get along?
They get along really good.
They do. Great. So you
Yeah,
and
they're not teenagers yet.
you and your wife have managed to create a home where they can be happy together as sisters, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's enormous.
Yeah.
So even if, sometimes we talk about what has to sometimes give way in order to have more time or focus on something. I think it's important for also you to remind yourself the kind of father you are, the kind of energy you provide in the home, and that doesn't go away if dad also has to sometimes work more. and explain that to them.
And that's a great point, because that's something she's told me. She's like, you put in the time right now, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to not have time for your kids. Just do the work right now and plan to have the time, and then everything will come. Like, I hear all that stuff and I get elevated and then all it takes is one moment where I'm thinking at home, a situation, and it might be something that clicks with her family, that causes a conflict that then comes down on me again. So everything deflates again. Mm-hmm. So she might be having controversy with her own family, which is a very hard subject because of the unsupport. Yeah. And then now I've got a wife that just wants to be supported. So it's got to be emotional. And I know as a guy, I can only handle, this is one thing I said, where I can only handle so much emotion.
So
she's
basically,
day to day.
It sounds like she's needing a lot of your energy and focus, and then she's saying, but why don't you do all this other stuff?
Yes, sometimes. Yes.
Okay. And you love her, and it's wonderful, so...
I love her, but can I give her 24 hours of emotion and then use the rest of my time to focus on the things that I need to do? Like, I don't know. There's got to be some sort of balance there.
And does she go to her business? Like,
yeah.
What are her work hours?
So her work hours, sometimes she works from home, sometimes not. So it's, how do you say, she works 7 days a week, but yet there's the at-home.
And can you work outside of the home? So that, like, and you create a boundary around that, so you're not being her support system then. You're not putting out fires. You're focused on what you need to focus on. I think that would be huge to
work outside the home, or just make my own hours is what you're saying?
No, actually leave the physical space of the home.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. And that time doesn't allow me the time that I feel is unbalanced at home with my kids. Like I feel like it would be greedy, or that it's how do you put it? I feel it would be unbalanced. Like I've got this fear of the kids not doing well or not having that home that that feels secure and normal in a family. Like I've got that in touch thing with them where I'm like, somebody's got to be at home. Like where can we both be doing stuff and having our own businesses and still merge with the kids? There's a lot of, I guess, internal conflict for me to just go and create this, do it, and be.
Do you mean leave them alone in the house, or leave them with your wife while you're working?
Or are they at school? Is there any way you can get a babysitter? What's the?
I think we're spread as thin as we can go.
You mean financially or time-wise?
No, we've got both, I guess. There's daycare, the split between daycare, school. They're all into activities.
As a coach, it's important to be able to get into the details of your client's day so that you can help them solve problems and figure out the logistics of their life. Part of John's pain is that he's afraid that if he takes time to work really hard on his coaching career, his kids are going to suffer. I'm not sure if that's really true, so we're going to ask him more questions and learn more about his home life.
I don't know if I'm missing something. I feel like I'm missing something.
I feel like
if you weren't working as an electrician, then how many hours a day would you have while the girls are at school and your wife is working?
I would have a lot of time, and I think I would have a lot of time. So, and I want lots of time.
So if she just hadn't asked you to do that, would you be doing that?
Probably not, because I had that fear stuck in me. I had the fear of change.
Okay. So
do you feel like she's not realistic? Do you feel like it's realistic or not
Upon
realistic
my belief,
for you to quit the electrical and go full blast into coaching?
Upon my beliefs, I didn't think it was realistic, but I know that it can happen. Believing it is the other thing.
And I mean, I personally wouldn't recommend anyone just quit their job and try to start. Like it could take a year before you have a steady income from the coaching.
Yeah.
So
any business.
I bet I don't know how well her business is doing. So if I were coaching the two of you...
So I guess this is another struggle is thinking that, like I've wanted to do this for us and for our family, to just do it on my own. And I don't know if that's a feeling of greed from a guy's point of view, just to want to do it all so that she didn't have to do anything and she could just be mom and love her kids and be at home and plant flowers.
Does she?
She likes being successful. She likes being social. She likes that life. So I have to live with that. So then I feel like I'm taking up the other half at home to bring that part that I think
That
I
she's
think
not
is
doing at
missing
home.
with my
Yeah.
kids, but
Right.
she's saying it's not missing. So it's
So how many hours are we talking about?
for which, sorry.
For the kids to be covered with the parental attention.
Pretty much from school till bedtime.
So like
3:30 till
3:30.
3:30 till 8, 9.
Okay.
So if you worked until 3:30, you got them to school, and you
Yeah.
have from then to 3:30
Can-
to work
So
if you
I-
weren't working
Like I
in
believe,
electrical.
yes. So I believe we've got a plan figured. I just
Okay.
I'm trying to be okay with it all.
Okay.
Now-
And also, I am sorry, I just have a practical issue. She's got this health club, which would be a great resource for you.
Yes.
If you were the wife and she was the husband, you wouldn't think twice about going into the health business and building a great coaching practice. But because you're a guy, you feel like it somehow lowers you. So I would work with your wife on building you up so that you're totally equal partners in the health business.
Mm-hmm.
That you then expand the coaching branch, you have different duties, but you're total equals. So that's the coaching I would do with her. That would be the ideal for me, would be working with two of you. But
I think
she's not
we both
here.
want that, Magali,
Okay.
but I think that we both have fears and button heads when it comes down to it, because she's so fire and I'm so earth and air, or water too.
I think you've got
I can have some
fire
fire
You know what?
in
there.
You have fire.
You
But that
wouldn't be-
fire
you
isn't
wouldn't be
always
annoyed
well
by
received.
this. You wouldn't be annoyed by this if you didn't have some fire.
John keeps referring to the family business as her business. His fear of butting heads with his wife is preventing them from so much business success. After all, they're already paying all the expenses for the fitness center. So if John were to set up a coaching practice there, it'd be pure profit. So we need to figure out what's preventing John from feeling that the business is shared and is a common resource for both him and his wife and their family. And you, being so protective and loving and understanding of that, have gentled yourself down.
Yeah.
And then it's not your actual native mode of being to be like that all the time. And when you're gentling yourself down, people misunderstand you because they think that you're maybe not as fiery as you are inside.
I have this feeling that when I get fired up, that's when people misunderstand me. Because
She is
sometimes-
going to misunderstand you when that happens.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you say you need a way to show your strength, and you say you set your jaw like this, and she's going, whoa, and she's going to
But that-
come down with all the fear and protection and all that stuff.
That's why that
yeah.
purpose statement can
Yes,
be
exactly.
so equalizing, because you're saying your truth in it.
She
You're
needs to
saying how you
translate it
want
into
it.
language that's consistent, that she agrees with. And that's the only place you should work on that strength. Don't do the physiology stuff. Don't do that stuff with her. You know what I mean? Work out, whatever. But with her, let that be the place where you show your strength together.
I think
And
it's-
consistency, saying, remember, honey, this is what I care about. And bring it out and say this. And let her read it on the page and see that this is what you care about. She can read it better than she can read you.
Oh yeah, she's very, like you said, I mean...
She misunderstands you constantly because she's afraid of someone who might be abusive. Right?
I don't think she thinks that I would...
But she has
be
a reaction?
abusive.
Am I off?
She would have a reaction. She would have a reaction, but she doesn't
She
ever
doesn't
think I would
think you
ever...
would ever.
She doesn't, but she still has the emotions.
She's got
and
the
then
emotions
she has a
backing it
self-protection.
because absolutely.
The hard ass comes out, and
Yeah.
I got to control my life, and right.
Takes control.
And then
So
what do?
I back down.
You back down because you're like,
Whoa.
no, and it's
Now I've got
actually a
somebody
very
that-
And
masculine
isn't it
thing
more
too.
fun to go play with the kids?
Oh yeah,
It's a
Yeah,
lot more
totally.
fun. So
Yeah.
what else is really fun?
What else is really fun?
Did you go to the toy store
Yeah, I did everything you said.
You did. I know. And then you wrote to me. We exchanged emails, and you didn't say I'm coming to SI boot camp.
Nope, I didn't.
You surprised me. I would have been so prepared, John. I would have invited
You would have
her
got me to take
come.
all those toys over here.
No, I would have brought her here.
It's really been quite the journey, and I think maybe for myself, it's just coming up here to share, to know that I can not only, one, just get in front of everybody, but to show some realization that sometimes the family issues just cause so much conflict.
Yeah.
And that conflict can either make you or break you, and it's really dependent upon...
Can it really make you or break you?
Well, it feels like it does. Feels like it does, but you still have that choice. You still have that choice to break through.
Very often, a client will limit themselves by making every decision black or white. Succeed or fail. Do it completely or don't do it at all. Be a great parent or be a terrible one. This makes it difficult to make the decision with confidence that John is wanting to make. I've been deliberately introducing humor and challenging the idea that this has to be all or nothing.
Things seem very black or white. They seem very big, or like all or nothing. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that's her tendency, and maybe that's what you've joined in with. But I'm wondering if there's something else like that isn't all or nothing, like quit, do it full force.
I think that's what it
Be
is.
a good
like
parent or fail as a parent. Like, where's the mid-ground?
I've had issues with work in that, just making the decision to quit or make the decision to move on. Right. Because in that, with her being, okay, I've got this, and this, and I've done that I say one thing, well, I should do this, and then I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And the accountability, or just knowing, being fearful of what the next item could have taken me to had I done it. So now I think it's just making that step. It's just going forward.
And what if, just let's entertain for a minute, you actually like some aspects of your job and you want to keep it? And you don't want to quit it. And you want to be the kind of dad...
I don't want to entertain that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. 18 years, I'm done. Yeah.
Are you totally sure?
Yes.
You don't think there's something about it that's keeping you connected?
No.
Some aspect, some mode of being that maybe you need to replicate when you're not doing it.
Mm. To replicate?
Yes.
There's some mode of being, something that when you walk away from it, you're going to need to...
I used to do a good job. That's what it was. For me, it was doing a good job, doing a tidy job, a responsible job, being a good leader.
Perfect. Okay, I want to write that stuff down.
Yeah.
One of our SI coaching concepts is called mode of being. This is the feeling that when we go through life in a certain preferred mode, like that of the observer, the joker, the leader, the caregiver, your mode of being helps determine your level of comfort and feeling of resonance with what you're doing. So for John, there was a certain mode of being that involved being a good, organized electrician. And we're asking him whether he's going to lose that mode of being when he quits his job to become a professional coach.
Over the years, it's dwindled down because I feel like I've been the leader, been the one to show, but you didn't get the respect or that level that I was looking for from people. They wouldn't put you in that position, or you wouldn't be. But then there's my own being in saying, I'm actually getting tired of this. And by having that front, I can understand that they're looking at me like, he's getting tired of this. So we're not going to put him into that position. We're not going to do that for him. So there's definitely a two-way street that I'm seeing there. One is that I am getting tired. One thing is that I want to change. I want to fire people up in a different way. I want to fire myself up.
Yes.
So, and this is what I've found. This is what I've found with strategic intervention, just to get a new mode.
What would be the first step at the gym if that wasn't an issue for you? If you didn't have to do this by yourself, which I'm just going to say, I'm going to use your strategy. I'm just going to be Magali right now. I'm not your coach. I'm not your teacher. I'm just Magali. Okay? You would be a total idiot not to use the resource of the gym to create your business.
Absolutely.
That's just Magali. Okay. Now I can be a coach again. Okay.
Everybody wants to know their coach's secret personal opinion. So Magali deliberately breaks from her role as a coach to tell him this so he receives her opinion more deeply. And in fact, you can see John accepts his advice completely on the spot. So let me ask you, do you think that John will have more success as a coach when he can collaborate with his wife on using this amazing resource of this fitness center? Of course he will. This is a big move for him.
Yep, a huge email list would be a total fool. Yeah.
Yeah, and not even the email list, the people you can meet face to face that can look in your eyes and think, John is so kind. Mm-hmm. He understands. He wants to help me. This is awesome. I can make an appointment right now. Mm-hmm. So that's the where I would go with the goals in the business, is going in and making contact and being a presence in the fitness center 8 hours a day. And make some plans. You like being organized. You like being a leader. Think about, what does it mean to be the leader of your family? Mm-hmm. What does it mean to be well organized with your girls?
It means a lot, but my wife built the business.
Who cares?
So
great.
For me, I feel
she
guilty
didn't just build it. You were making an income, so
ability.
she could build it.
You made huge accommodations for her to be able to succeed. That's always the case.
And you worked really hard.
You worked really hard, and you created an environment where she could focus on that.
Have 3 kids and run a business. It's huge. You know that.
So part of this is that you just don't give yourself credit. You're not giving yourself credit. You don't give yourself credit for that. You don't give yourself credit that you create a gentle presence for her, because of her needs, not because of yours. That you supported her and believed in her.
So take a moment to give yourself credit. Just give yourself that credit. That's what we want to do. We want to give you that credit. What would it be like if you gave yourself credit? If you said, I did this. I made an amazing home for my daughters. I supported my wife. I worked really hard. Yeah. Would you be willing to even pretend to feel that way every day?
I'd be a fool to say no, right?
Well, I don't know. Would you? I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't be.
How else are you going to fire yourself up?
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife told me what to do again.
One of the pleasures of being a coach is pointing out to a client the things they have to be proud of. This is something most people don't do for themselves. In John's case, by undervaluing his own contribution to his family and to his wife's business, he's been holding himself back, and he's also been holding his wife back. Now we're going to help John get more clarity about his real role in the family.
It's a manly thing to create a foundation for the family, to be the bedrock, the one that everyone can depend on.
Absolutely.
So you're saying there's
That's
a rock.
a good metaphor.
There's a rock there too.
There's a rock there.
It's not there, it's here.
Yes. That's why you're worrying about your daughters, because she was able to heal herself partially through her business and find self-esteem through her business and find success and a new identity for herself.
That's exactly why I came to these people here. They know exactly what they're talking about. Like,
so you saw her path of healing and you enabled it, and you did what had to be done. Now, just because someone misunderstands that, don't let that be misunderstood by you. That's a strong thing.
Is there a metaphor that you could use to remind yourself, whether it's a rock or something else? Sometimes it's easier for us to attach that knowing to an image that we can just remember seeing it.
all I see is a rock. I don't
Great,
see
perfect. So a rock.
Now, what is it going to take to acknowledge that rock? Like, you may not get it directly from her. She might not give it to you that way. You might have to think that when she's freaking out, that is proof that you're dependable.
That's great. Yeah.
So instead of saying, man, why don't you see what I'm really doing? You say, oh, you're seeing me for real.
I am such a rock that you can lose it.
You know I would never hurt you.
Yeah.
So you can freak out all you want.
And then what happens is when you do this, when you remind yourself, it's going to actually make her experience gentler. She will stop freaking out quite so much. When she sees you acknowledging yourself, she will relax.
Because you'll be relaxed, because you won't have that tension. Like, how come you're doing this?
So
she's doing this because she can.
So that's why she's always told me, go take time to yourself. Why don't you just go do something for yourself?
When she says that, is there something else she's also saying beneath that? What else does that mean? Even if she says it in whatever voice, something other, it's a statement of love? Is that the way she shows you love?
Yeah.
Earlier, John thought he was suffering from not enough support from his wife. Now he gets that he can be stronger in guiding his wife in times of emotional difficulty. Magaly's taking this to the next step now by encouraging John to see the love his wife is showing him when she tells him, for instance, to take time for himself. When he can accept those offers as an act of love, he'll be more confident and she'll feel his love more. This will completely change their communication.
Are there other things that the underneath message is she's saying she loves you and is very happy to be with you, but she says it in a way that might come out a little different, like a criticism or like just go do this, a command, an action statement?
I think
Some people it's go eat, and that means I love you. They say go eat.
Yeah, just giving me time, because I know that would be
how
her
she
love
would.
language.
Yeah. So it takes a little while to recognize that right when it happens, but you're starting to make those connections. Maybe you already have before coming here. You already probably made those connections at times. And so now it's getting yourself in the pattern so that when she says that and you react as if she just said, I love you, and you say, thank you, honey, you love me so much, completely changes the way she'll communicate with you. So whenever we respond to the deeper communication and we can hear that, it changes the one who made the communication. It can take time, but it does change.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the man that's present.
A rock.
Not like your dad.
No.
You already are the man that your dad could never be.
You make me cry again, man.
You can see that this new way of communicating has given John a whole new way to be with his wife. Now Mark is going to anticipate the situations where John experiences struggle and stress, so he can prepare himself for that when he gets home.
You move into her business, which she considers to be herself because she's protective of herself. You move into that business, you are going to butt heads. You are going to get into more contact with her, right? So you need to prepare yourself. You need to understand what's really happening versus, there's a part of you that wants to be acknowledged for all the good, the good guy you are, right? And then beneath it, there's a strong man who gets that you may never be acknowledged for that stuff, but you know what's real. What you've really provided her, what you provided for your girls, what you provided for the business.
I think that's
so. There's going to be a creative friction time when you start. You're going to have to fire yourself up. You want to fire yourself up, right? You're going to have to find a way to fire yourself up that doesn't get discouraged when she freaks out. Because she's going to freak out when you put yourself into more intensity, more coach mode, more autonomy, more I'm doing this, right? She's going to react.
Mm-hmm.
And part of her will be really happy too.
And part of her, exactly.
She loves seeing drive. So
yes, she's preventing herself. Her tragedy is she's preventing herself from getting what she really wants from you because she overreacts when you do it.
She's not even gonna know I hit her.
Yeah,
like,
but that.
Whoa, this
but
guy,
listen,
he's here. He's here. He's present now.
Yes.
Perfect. Where was the last 13 years?
There's a reason why you have everything you have with your family and her and your business. Mm-hmm. So you weren't in the habit of acknowledging that manliness in yourself because you thought it had to be some other asshole.
Or be more feminine, taking on that role of...
Not realizing that you stepped in and where you were needed and how you were needed at the time.
It can be very masculine to be a provider and a protector to your children and someone that has fun with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's like, I mean, the women here, how do you feel about that? That's like the best kind of man. Yeah. So there's nothing feminine about that. So that has to be erased. If you're carrying that baggage, it's like,
I guess because I'm linking it back to my own parents and what I've seen.
yeah,
Yes, but you also
you're
saw
not
her
them at
soul
all.
and you saw what she needed. Mm-hmm. And you put yourself in the position. You took up the space that she needed. And that's a masculine trait.
I would like, if we could, go over with you some action steps that you're going to do for the business. You have all these people here who will give you some feedback. So I want you to use this time.
And that purpose statement, so she can read in plain English what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
So she doesn't misinterpret it and misunderstand it.
I was working with a couple that had the problem that the husband just, like, once every 6 months would freak out, like, big time. He would follow his wife until she, like, locked herself in her room. She was so scared. He would punch a hole in the wall. And this guy was, like, calm, healer, totally mellow, and then he'd go ballistic, right? And I was working with the wife. He never actually hurt her, but sometimes he'd storm out of the house and, like, walk 10 miles. His energy would explode. So we actually made a poster that she kept for when he would freak out. And on one side of the poster was her purpose statement. And the other side of the poster had directives for her to ask him to because he would start criticizing her. And so she, instead of doing what she normally did, would be locking the door and keeping him out, she'd say, okay, here's my poster. I want to go through everything with you. I know generally these are the issues you have, and I'm ready to address them right now. This is my purpose. And I want to cover all these areas that we normally talk about when you get upset with me. And so she actually took total conscious control of the situation, predicting what would happen, having her purpose statement ready, and going through the areas that were difficult for them, like in-laws. There were a bunch of complaints. And actually, like, she hasn't had to use the poster, which is the funny thing.
Let me ask you, why do you think Magali just told this story? Do you have an idea? By telling John the story of another client with a much more dramatic communication challenge with her spouse, Magali's helping John feel that he could tackle his much less severe problem. By the way, this is a true story, and it's actually the case where Magali first came up with a strategy of having an argument guide, complete with talking points, typical complaints and answers to the complaints, as well as a mission statement on a poster. These are materials the spouse can keep ready for when one of those terrible but predictable arguments take place.
I know what happens in the pattern with my wife, and I'm ready, and here's my purpose, and these are the things I'm going to bring up with her. So when she says, you're just not applying yourself, then you say, it's so interesting that you said that. I actually want to talk with you about not just how I apply myself, but also how this happens and this happens and this happens. Are you ready to have a meeting now, or could we schedule a time to really have a focused meeting on this? Because I think it might be even better for us to have a time tomorrow where we focus on this. She's going to be like, what? So you go with that energy instead of avoiding it or shutting down and saying, you don't affect me. It's like she triggers that focused, organized leader in you.
Yes, that's a great point. Because you don't have to beat your chest, right? You can go straight.
Instead,
to
you
the
can say,
purpose
we need to have an
statement,
executive meeting. And you can actually plan to have a meeting with her once a week where all you do is talk about organization and leadership and assignment of roles and what needs to happen.
And even if it's you capturing it so that you both agree on it. Some of the ideas can be hers.
There's
right?
still baby steps, right?
Baby steps.
What do you
She's
mean?
gonna look at me now and go, whoa, this guy's crazy. He's got so many ideas then. So that's good though. I welcome it all. So
Okay. All right, great. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, because we talked about giving names, right, where we can assign a name. Now, my question is, if he was my client, could I say to him, suggest something like, could you take her power away by saying, you know what, when you're hot like this, when you start bossing me around, you're damn sexy, and I'm going to call you, you know, Suzanne, or whatever the name may be. Would you ever suggest something
I would
like that,
work
or?
with the woman with that, not with the man.
Okay.
So if I were coaching that couple, I would ask her, and I've done this before, like, so what are the different modes of being you go into?
Right.
And so, like, the bitch one, what's her name?
Right.
The sexy one, what's her name? And then I would ask her to invite her husband to call her sometimes when she's in, like, organized, driven mode and bring out the sexy one.
Okay.
Or when she's being a bitch, tell him to say, you know what, just remember when I freak out on you, call me Rebecca.
Right.
Because Rebecca's the bitch.
Okay.
And so you can totally play with that, but many women would not respond well. I don't know about your wife. Everyone's different. If I was coaching both of you, we would talk about a word, usually not like a sexy word, actually a funny word, like a cartoon character, that you both know you can use when the other one is escalating. And they have to break the pattern, and for 1 minute you have to dance, whatever is going on. And so if we could get agreement from her, Why awkward? I'm confused.
Oh, just that would be awkward for me. Yeah. It needs to be. Yes, that would be.
So to be funny would be awkward. Remember, what were you going to get at the toy store to surprise your wife with? Was there something? I sent him to the toy store. What was the purpose? I forgot.
Months before, we had worked with John over the phone during one of our weekly group calls, and Magali gave him the strategy of finding toys at the toy store to bring out his funny side with his wife and kids. Now that she sees John's feeling awkward about being funny, she asks him to remind her about the intervention. She doesn't actually need to be reminded. She's doing this to bring him back to that intervention strategy.
You sent me to get somebody representing somebody who I was at the time, that I could then look at, to laugh at, to click out of my mode. So I
we
went
were
and bought,
working, getting you in a higher energy state.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then you sent me to get a toy for her to use, like, at the gym for what she would be represented by, so that she could look at it and get some laughter from it in a kind of funny way. So I went out and bought her boxing gloves. Oh! with all the sounds for it. And I bought myself.
Did she like that?
She did, actually.
She did.
Yeah,
Good.
she thought
You know
the kids
her.
started playing around with it and had a lot of fun. They were well, not hitting each other, but it made sounds. They were electronic. And then I bought myself Grumpy Smurf to look at, because I'm like, I'm not really him. But he looks at, I look at him and just go, yeah, you're crazy. Because he's always sitting there going. And that's who I was. I was just sitting there going grumpy all the time.
Is there
No
another
reason for
Smurf
it.
you could get for the new John? Is there another Smurf?
Yeah.
Papa Smurf, he's the daddy of them all.
Or maybe, now like Barnes & Noble and stuff, they have all those action heroes from the new Star Wars movie. Maybe there's like a Star Wars character you could,
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
I feel like I'm taking up everybody's time now.
Isn't that great? Wait, just feel that for a minute. That's amazing. Just feel that for a minute. You're taking up everyone's time, and we love it. We're all so happy that you're here
Paul,
talking
taking
to you.
up greedy.
Yeah.
Doing something greedy?
All right, John.
Paul's directive to me was to do something greedy for myself every day. One thing, just for a couple seconds.
Love
So
it.
And
Love
to
that.
enjoy it.
And to enjoy it. That's great.
I just did.
That's great.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
John stood up suffering from a terrible dilemma. Whenever he fired himself up with the energy he needed to succeed as a coach, it seemed that his marriage came into jeopardy. We showed him that instead of avoiding communication and possible conflict with his wife, he could understand his wife's deeper desires and how to reassure and support her when she became stressed. Instead of beating himself up or criticizing himself, he could enjoy the confidence of knowing the real role he serves in his family and the value he brings to his wife and to his children. Instead of having to start his coaching business from scratch, he could actually partner up with his wife so they could synergize and build a legacy together. John went home and transformed his marriage. He did quit his job and became a full-time coach. And the couple now runs the business, teaches together, they inspire others every day, and they appear on stage together. They support each other in their careers. And through the power of coaching, John was able to cut through the different areas of his life that were causing confusion. Career goals, marriage, parenting, communication, a business plan, and find a valuable solution that's made him and his family much more prosperous. We spoke to him recently, and his marriage and business are both stronger and growing every day. Strategic intervention coaching is an approach that's gentle, that's non-shaming, and that works skillfully with the client, working with who a person really is right now and helping them bring forth their strongest resources so that at the deepest level of their values and desires, they can improve their life and the lives of those around them. So next time you have a situation that seems difficult to untangle, remember that there's a way to find the most valuable solution that will bring you the result you're wishing for. This is Magali Pesha and Mark Pesha from strategicintervention.com. Thanks for spending this time with us. If you found this video helpful, please share it, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments below.